Hello and welcome to another episode of this C# Basics tutorial series. In this series we will learn how to use expressions and we will also get to learn a few more data types. So the first data type that we get to learn today is going to be the Boolean. For this we type bool, we call it, b, and a Boolean takes on either of two values. It's either true or it's false. And in the last episode, we learned how to use an if statement. And in here, we always checked whether a given statement was true or whether it was false. What we actually did was we created a Boolean in here, which took on either the value true or false. So if b, and we say expression is true, and we head into Godot, hit play, then you can see our expression is true. So, given what we learned now, what we can also do is we create an integer, call it x, give it a value of 5, and instead of boolean b equals true, we can say boolean b equals 5 equals 5, or x equals 5. If you remember the last episode, we wrote something like this. If x equals 5, and then we do something. But we now learned that in this if statement, we simply create a Boolean, a new Boolean, which either takes on the value true or false. And this is what we call an expression. Right here you made an expression, x equals 5, which can be stored in this Boolean. Right here, this is of course not really the most useful use case, but this gives us so many possibilities. So now that we learned about the Boolean, we will now learn about the string. We've already used strings as of now. We'll simply call this string s, and we give it a value. Strings always take a text, a string of characters, so to say, as a value. So we can now store the text hello world into our string. If we now want to print it, we simply call print s. So what we did here again was using expressions. We could also type hello world. We can also store it in this variable. This is very important to understand early on. When you already understood this, you are quite ahead of many other beginners. So let's print it out. And you can see printed out hello world. So let's recap what happened in this episode. We learned about the data type Boolean. We also learned about the data type string. And we learned what an expression is. In the next episode, we will learn how to use so-called loops, which are another fundamental piece of every program.